Ideal Protein is a doctor-designed, coach-led ketogenic weight loss protocol that uses food as medicine to empower you to lose weight and live your healthiest life.
We missed a week, but now we're back. Here in the booth. Dramatic music plays in the background. Welcome back, folks, to Group Therapy. It is a show brought to you by the Livingston Parish News crew. I am joined by my two fellow editors, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quick. Going to start on my left.
It's Rob DeArmond. I'm sports editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And I'm David Gray, lifestyle editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And we appreciate you guys joining us. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Today, we're going to lead off the show talking real quick about early voting, which begins this Saturday. It'll be from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. It will be for the bond renewal for the Denim Springs School District. That is the only thing on the ballot. So if you don't care about it, glaze over this part. It will be inside the Denim Springs School District. This, of course, will be used, if it passes, to produce new facilities, sports facilities, on Denim Springs High School campus. It is an just over $8 million current property tax. It's not a new tax. It is a renewal of the tax to fund this bond. And you can go to either the Denim Springs Walker Branch Library or the Registrar of Voters office in Livingston. They'll be open from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. for a week, Saturday to Saturday. They are not open on Sunday, so you can go vote yay or nay. If you're interested in information about that, you can check out our website, www.livingstonparishnews.com. There is a story under the breaking news section about it. We've also done 4 podcasts with 4 coaches from Denim Springs High School, which includes athletic director Brett Beard and football coach, head coach of baseball, Mark Carroll, head coach of softball, Leslie Efferson, and last but certainly not least, the guy who led us off, much like Jose Altuve, Mr. Andy McLean, who is the head coach of cross country and track. And getting into the guts of the show today, going to use that to lead off with the parish track meet, which was supposed to be at Denim Springs High School this year. It was not. It was hosted at Walker. But, sorry about that, folks. But Denim Springs High School claimed both crowns?
Both. That is correct.
So tell us a little bit about the track meet.
Every year, this is one of my most favorite events to cover because everybody's in one place. You get to sit down there, get to see everybody in action, talk to athletes. It's pretty cool when they come up and it's just from my standpoint, when athletes come up and tell you hello because they see you out there and they're excited you're out there. It was, just a great deal. You've got on the boys' side, Denim beats Walker by 1 point, 102-101.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're getting down, and when you get down to the end, talking with Coach McLean, it was one of those things where you can pull this stuff up on your phone now. So I'm literally walking around the infield. I think David caught me charging my phone back there because I'm walking around the infield, and you can see what's happening real time on your phone, so you know how close some of these races are, and so you can actually see stuff unfold, and as they get done, they automatically update point totals. And he was saying back in our day, we used to have to go check the sheets, and you're 3 or 4 events behind, and you're kind of going, okay, where is everybody? That's not the case anymore. So
I remember those days. You're sitting there waiting around at the end of the meet, waiting for them to are we going to win? Are we going to win?
There and look at the wall and go, okay, we're a couple of events behind. Just kind of hang out for a little bit, but it's like I said, it's just good to see everybody. Denim Springs wins a girls' title over Walker, 112.5 to 101. The big thing there for the girls, I think, when you talked to Andy when he took over the program, he wanted to grow that girls' program, and you're starting to see that. And when we start talking about the diversity of the people he's got running for him, the athletes he's got, he said we've got people who are in other sports, in basketball. We've got some Jackettes, members of the dance team. We've got cheerleaders. And he said it kind of makes it easy when you can just say, okay, you just go this one event. And that's all you have to worry about. It's a different story for these smaller schools who they, okay, this is where we're putting you, and this is what you're doing, which is kind of talking to Landon DuBois at Holden. It's like, okay, we're going to try you here, and you go ahead and do this, So, and Holden's girls wound up winning the small schools division, 105-71 over Marpaw, and the boys small schools, Springfield wins 87-60 over French Settlement. Springfield kind of took off on the track there, pun intended for sure. They took it over there. And the Holden girls just kind of they just I don't want to say dominated, but they had a pretty good lead and were able to work on that all day.
Are they're still, and you may have already mentioned this, they're still separated, big schools and small schools,
Right,
correct? Yeah.
right. So your large schools are going to be your 3-5A schools in Albany, and then the smaller schools are going to be, the 2As on down.
I wanted to make sure that was covered.
Right, correct.
Because like you said, at some of the bigger schools, you've got 4 or 5 people per event, but at some of the smaller schools, it's like, okay, you're going to be doing, you're going to throw the javelin as you're doing the high jump.
This is what you're doing. It's funny. I've been to state meets where you've got kids competing in the same event, in 2 different events at the same time. So you literally sprint with them from one event to the other just to see what they're doing, and you try to coordinate that stuff, but it happens.
Sure.
And they figure out a way to get it done.
Yeah. Well. And, a lot of this made possible because we've made a lot of strides with COVID. So I'm going to jump over to David, and we're going to come back to Rob because we got plenty of baseball to talk about, especially with regard to the big show. But, we've moved on to phase 3.
Yes.
We haven't had a chance to discuss that because we had a packed week last week with we had a couple of interviews with Buddy Mincy Jr. coming out. I'll mention those at the end of the show. But several of the final podcasts came out about that bond renewal that we were discussing. So tell us a little bit about phase 3 and what's going on with vaccinations right now.
Yeah, well, a couple weeks ago, I'm not sure if we've talked about this on the podcast yet, but a couple weeks ago, Governor Edwards kind of spur more vaccinations. He got rid of pretty much any adult, or now, yes, technically any adult now can get a vaccination in Louisiana. If you're 18 and older, you are eligible regardless of any underlying health conditions or your employment status where you work, like it had been categorized before. Now, 18 and older, that's all you, and he keeps saying all y'all. That's his phrase for who can get the vaccination. And if you're 16 and 17, if it's the Pfizer vaccine, you are also eligible for that. So there are some teenagers who are eligible for vaccinations depending on which one they get. So yeah, and we recently passed 2 million administered vaccination doses in the state. So I mean, it's been moving along, and with the downward trends in hospitalizations and cases, the governor decided that now was the time. He said, even though there's kind of always that fear of when you reach the bottom part of I guess of flattening the curve, there's always that fear of everything going back up. But he said he was going to follow the same gating criteria he's been following for the last year, which is why he decided to loosen even more restrictions in phase 3. So now, I mean, the biggest difference is with places like bars and gyms where, bars have pretty much been on lockdown since, over the last year. They were open for a brief period in the summer until, we had another spike. But now there's no more time limit on bars. I mean, there's still social distancing and masking required and, tableside service. But now bars can almost... these are the most loosened set of restrictions since the pandemic began. So now bars they can actually operate under somewhat normal conditions, and same with gyms. There's no, it was another facility or location that had been considered a spreader of the virus, but now gyms don't have the capacity limits anymore. But still, there's still those social distancing and mask requirements in place for a lot of these. But yeah, I mean, it was just it was good to, I guess, kind of hear, him loosen these restrictions and feel that we had done enough. And, yesterday we got down to where, a couple of days ago we got below 300 hospitalizations statewide, which we hadn't had since, the middle of last March. So I'm not, well, we're in April now. So the March 2020. So yeah, I mean, the trends are looking good in Louisiana still, and which is why we're going to be in this loosened set of phase 3 until the end of April, and then we'll see from there where we go.
Yeah, and I'm one of those people. I'm very happy for the gym restrictions to be removed because my gym went back to 24-hour because I'm one of those weird people that goes in there at like 10:30. So it was nice to have that. I know, things moving back a little bit towards normalcy, and we've been using that word a lot. But, along the way, we've lost some folks. And you have covered that quite diligently. And when I say you for the audience, I mean David. And poor David.
Yeah, it's
You-
not a fun one sometimes.
it really
especially
isn't.
what we're about to talk about now.
Yeah, I do not say that. I mean, I really do, because it's very difficult to speak with these families, to talk to them about their loved one. A lot of times, it's very cathartic for them to remember their family member who passed. A lot of big names in the community, but one of the stories we did, or you did rather, that'll be on the front page of this week's paper is that we've reached 200 deaths, and a lot of names, a lot of people that had a big effect on the community. So, obviously we're not going to list every name, but I want you to touch on some high points.
Yeah, I mean, it was April 1st, 2020 was that was the first day that we confirmed that Livingston Parish confirmed a death. Terry McGee, he was a 1986 Doyle High graduate. He was he worked at a operating plant. I mean, that was the first confirmed death, and then since then, like you said, it's over 200 now. It's a 180 confirmed deaths, 22 probable deaths. So I mean, what they say, call it suspected deaths, but still, I mean, it's a pretty startling figure. And then when looking back at the last year, I was just kind of going through some of the names. I mean, you have some people who some pretty big figures in Livingston Parish. I mean, starting with Arthur Perkins, the former city council member, principal, one of the leaders of I guess civil rights in Livingston Parish, one of the leaders here, and he was one of the most prominent figures, I would say, that passed away the last year, and his death was from COVID. A former fire chief of in Livingston Parish, in Denim Springs, actually, Hank Wheat, he died from complications due to COVID. A business owner in Watson who owned the pizza place for 30-something years, Wanda Cloud, she passed from COVID. And then you have some other people who not really known, they I mean, obviously, their family, they're just as loved by their families as some of these more prominent figures, but that's just the last year, just kind of going through all these stories. And one thing that I guess, one line in the story that I put in there that kind of like, I guess makes it stand, or that stuck out to me, is just, they're all different, but they're all the same. I mean, it's, they all have their own different, unique stories, but it's all the same, especially when it comes to the battle with COVID, because for most of these people, it was a very quick passing. I mean, one lady I know, it was 10 days from her positive test that she passed. A lot of them is less than 2 weeks. And the fact that some of these people haven't even had funeral services yet for their loved ones, are just kind of waiting till another time. I mean, so it's something that they're still, dealing with, and, whenever they decide to have a service, are going to deal with later. So it was just a reminder of what all that's happened this last year. And it's still heartbreaking to think about in a lot of cases.
It is. It's been a tough year. All the things from business shutdowns to school issues, but those are the things. Those deaths are the things that really strike home for a lot of people. So you did a good job and a very diligent job of covering all that. And I know, you tried to formulate a lot of them to be more of a celebration of life than it was a story of how they affected their community. And, I know a lot of those families appreciated your diligence in that. So moving forward, getting into springtime, sort of a celebration of life, I know that things are starting to ramp back up for you.
Yes, indeed.
David is our lifestyle editor, and he's kind of been on COVID duty because, while schools found a way and sports found a way, a lot of festivals and, general extracurricular activities were canceled. But now they're starting to come back. Spring Fest will occur in a couple of weeks. But you've had one fair that occurred, and you've got another sort of fair, an annual event that draws a lot of people. So that's going to be interesting. Tell us about those two real quick.
Well, first was the Denim Springs Fair that started in 2016. I can't remember the exact year, but yeah, the Denim Springs Fair, it got canceled last year, like a lot of other things did, and this year they had their biggest crowd yet. I went there Friday and Saturday night, and if you get a chance, go to our website. You can see all the photos that we got from the Denim Springs Fair, and the band photos of the bag of donuts are just personally my favorite photos because they are always they're very colorful cover band. If you don't know them, they kind of look like the guys from Kiss, so that's kind of how they dressed up, and they have flashing lights and all that stuff. So if you get a chance, look at those. But yeah, I mean, it was a big turnout. And that's what everyone expected because it's been a year of lockdown. It's so much shut down that people were just ready for something that felt a little normal. And then the Denim Springs Fair, they got the go ahead to do it. I mean, it was only 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks before the fair, not even 2 weeks before the fair, that they announced that they were actually going to be able to have it. And the Tony Gyro, the organizer of the fair, he put on Facebook that there was about 20,000 people that attended, which would be their biggest showing. Yeah, I think before that, the most they had was 14,000. So, I mean, it just showed that people were ready for something to do. And then now they will have something else to do this coming weekend because Bo's Extravaganza is going on in Holden. John Schneider, the star from Dukes of Hazzard, who has a film studio in Holden, he is having his annual event, and it's going to be they're thinking it's going to be another big draw just because of all the stuff that, like I said, you have all these restrictions loosened. People are looking for something to do. He already has a legion of fans that flock to anything he does, so they're expecting a big crowd. There's going to be live music. The people who we would most recognize are, say, Chase Tyler, Ashton Gill. There's some Livingston Parish natives who are going to be performing over the weekend, and then you're going to have a bunch of other car show, car parade, all kinds of car stunts, like I said, live music, food, and they're going to be raising money for TARC, which is an organization that works with special needs people in the Florida parishes. So that's kind of one big thing that they wanted to highlight. But yeah, it's just showing that there's a lot of stuff coming up. And then, like you said, a couple weeks from now we have Springfest. So I mean, a lot of stuff is picking up this time of year now.
So, and interesting compared to last year, definitely.
Yes.
Because last year it was canceled. But this year, things are moving forward. So, going to be interesting to see how the turnout is. But as you've said, you can imagine it's going to be high because if the Denim Springs Fair proved anything, it was that people were ready.
As long as the weather's good.
Right. Well,
right.
It is South Louisiana.
Last weekend was it was a picturesque weekend for the Denim Springs Fair. A little chilly, but that actually is fine because it gets too hot here. So
right.
So it was a perfect weekend, and that's the only thing that could put a damper on anything is the weather, and it's Louisiana, so you never know. But it looks pretty good right now, so we'll see.
Well, and that's a good thing. Getting people out. Let's just hope that they're going to be safe. Vaccines are available for those 16 and older. Just want to remind folks of that. It does take a few weeks unless you get the Johnson & Johnson to get fully vaccinated. So go ahead and make that plan now.
And make sure to look at our website every Monday because that's when we have the list because it changes week to week, the list of pharmacies that are or providers that are getting vaccine doses to where you can schedule. We put every Monday, that's when the Department of Health releases that list, and that's when we release a list on our website of all the Livingston Parish ones. And then, there's also a few clinics that Region 9, which encompasses Livingston Parish as well as Tangi, St. Helena, St. Tammany, and Washington parishes, that all makes up Region 9. They also release their health clinics that they have going on. There's one today in Denim, and there's one tomorrow in French Settlement. So just every Monday we have that come out. So if you're looking to get a vaccine, don't know where to go, check our website on Mondays to find that.
So we're talking about spring kind of getting a little bit back to normal. Baseball and softball in full swing. Going to be spending a little more time on baseball today. First and foremost, let's cover the big show. Mr. Max Soroller, who is a Livingston Parish native, who went to Southeastern and got his first start with the Orioles.
He's working in relief for him.
Okay.
So it's one of those deals where I found out about it. Miss Margaret here called me and told me he got the call. Tried to give Mac a call, and then I looked at the schedule, and they were still playing spring training games that day. Was not able to get in touch with him, but I'll tip my hat to Damon Sunday at Southeastern. We were texting back and forth. He said I pulled it off. So he was able to get in touch with Mac as well as Ben McDonald and Coach Reiser and kind of talk about it a little bit. The big thing here is Mac was a Rule 5 pick. He was originally drafted by the Cincinnati Reds, and he got picked up by Baltimore in the Rule 5 draft. which basically when you get to the major league options, you either stick with the club or you go back to on the major league level, or you go back to the original club you were with. So as a Rule 5 guy, they're kind of watching him, trying to see what he can do. And okay, can you help our team out? And obviously, they saw something in Mac to say, okay, we're going to break camp, and you're with us, man.
So he he had several good innings. I think did he pick up the win?
I'm not real sure on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I saw he worked out the jam.
Yeah.
Go check Facebook, folks, if you missed it. We shared it. He worked out the jam. I'm not sure if he got the win. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Okay. In order to get the win in professional baseball, you got to pitch 5 complete.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's 5. So you got to get 15 outs. So coming back local, because obviously he was in Yankee Stadium, right?
Or is it? Yeah.
So I mean, he got
that's a heck of a way to do it.
Yeah, to start it off in Yankee Stadium in New York.
I want to go look up the clip now, just to because we're here. I want to go look it up and make sure we're where we are, man.
Sure.
But yeah, this is a heck of a deal. He's pitching in A-ball last year, and they obviously did not play any minor league ball last year.
That's huge.
And you're able to come in and make the show. So, and I'm looking this thing up right now. So, bear with me here.
Sure.
So,
this is dead air. This is
dead. I'm trying not to make it dead air, man.
You have been on the radio. You know better than this. We cannot have dead air.
You kind of put me on the spot.
David, say something.
I was looking for something here. So.
I don't know what to say. Well, what are we
I got something good to bring up while he's looking that up. Mr. Gray here has been dabbling in sports photography.
Oh yeah, gosh, yes. Go look at the baseball and softball photo.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, by the way.
No, it's been fun. That's one thing that Rob's been having to use his phone a lot sometimes, or there's some a lot of times you'll have some very gracious parents who also dabble in photography, and some of them are quite good. I'm thinking of one from Springfield in particular, but no, I mean, you'll have a lot of people who send photos, but sometimes Rob has used his phone, and he, so a few weeks ago started doing some. I think I've covered 6 games in the last week and a half, so it's been.
He's gotten real good.
Fun,
he'll just go, "What do we got today? He's almost like me. Where's the game? Where are we going?"
That's it. No, so it's been fun,
it's
but
really cool.
So no, but it's been. I mean, it's good though. It's showing. I was just looking through on our website while y'all were talking at our photo gallery page section of our website, and they're starting to fill up. And for a while, like it was nothing going on. It's
right.
Just, I mean, we have all these baseball games. Like I said, I had the Denim Springs Fair on there. We have some other events that have been going on. Next week we'll have one from Bo's Extravaganza. So I mean, it's just been. There's some photo galleries, which is showing that there's actually things going on again, which is, it's just crazy to think about, especially, we're going back to that 1-year anniversary of the first passing in Livingston Parish from COVID. That 1 year ago, it was just like waiting at your laptop to see what thing was getting canceled next. And, it's just crazy to think that's, feels like such a long time ago, but it's really not that long ago that all that happened. But
I almost caught you because I could hear you saying the 1-year anniversary of the flood.
Oh God,
that almost came out of here because you were like the 1-year anniversary of the flood. No, of first COVID death.
Yeah, no, and that's yeah.
We're coming up on 5 years on that one. Folks.
Yeah, and that was another thing that Parish President Leighton Ricks, whenever me and him were talking at a vaccination clinic, he tells me all the stories he's heard from COVID over the last year, but then he also said, I'm still hearing stories all the time about the flood, and that's going on. I guess it's over 4.5 years now, or
it'll be 5 years in August.
Yeah, so right at 4.5 years, and it's just one of the. He said, the flood, COVID is going to be, those type of things that people are just always, your point in life is always going to be dictated by like the flood, by COVID. It's just just these events that are so rare, but this is the first one that's affected. The flood was really Livingston Parish, some EBR and Ascension, but COVID is something that everybody it doesn't matter where you live, that your life was affected by it in some way.
Yeah.
Did we find anything?
Found it.
Yeah.
Found it.
That was
Looking
some
it
good
up.
stuff.
I'm gonna have to put the MLB app on my phone just so I can pull this stuff up. The game I think we're talking about, Yankees won 7-0.
Oof.
Matt gets in. He goes two.
So he didn't get the win.
2
No.
2/3. 2 walks and strikes out 4. So
That's still pretty good.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
For coming in. And like I said, he worked out a jam. Got a little pop up to get out the inning there. So it's and he's always been, every time I've talked to him, it's been yes sir, no sir. In my opinion, couldn't happen to a better guy. And you're just happy for him. You know, this is what you shoot for, and you start playing when you're a little kid, and here you are, you're in the show, man.
Right. So, bringing it back local, talking about some more baseball. We talked a little bit last time we gathered here at this table about Live Oak having a national ranking, and Coach Jesse Cassard saying, we're going to take it one game at a time. Had 2 wins, very, very methodical in their performance, and the way that they play the game. So tell us a little bit about what you saw watching Live Oak play baseball.
I got to see him for the first time on Saturday against Zachary, which and that's a kind of a natural rivalry there. And they come in, and Dawson Curtin comes in relief. They won 5 or 6 strikeouts in relief, and they just get some timely hitting. They went 4-0 or 4-1. I'm sorry. And it was just, you go up and you say, Coach, there's nothing fancy here. You just, and he's like, I tell my guys, gee, you just throw strikes. And he said, once we've gotten to the district situation where we are now, basically, if you can throw for us, I say you go down to the pin. You start walking people, I'm pulling you. Yeah. And it's just, this is the way we've set up. And the same thing happened last night. They beat Walker 8-4. Walker's also ranked in there, in the top 10 in the power ratings. And so you see that matchup. I had not seen Walker until last night, but you see that matchup and you go, this is going to be good stuff. And Live Oak winds up winning 8-4, but they follow the same formula. Michael Summers comes on in relief. I want to say he struck out 6. But it was the same thing. They get the timely hitting. I think David was there. Blaze Priester hit a home run that, if you've ever seen Walker's Park, they've got that kind of their own version of the Green Monster. You've got to hit it pretty high, and he hits it straight away center. And when I say it literally looked like the ball sat on the top of the wall and then rolled over. That was, I said, what are you thinking? He's like, at that point, I'm thinking, okay, double, at least a triple. And I looked up and I saw the umpire kind of signal, home run. So, you kind of take off, but, good baseball. We're getting down to crunch time, and it's, one of those deals where, in talking to Coach Sandifer, it's, Live Oak got those big hits when they need him. He said they just kind of didn't materialize with us, and he kind of said we're at the point now where if you go 2-1 during the week, you can keep yourself in that deal, and hopefully at the end you're right where you need to be.
Right, and it's spring break time right now, so these teams are squeezing in a lot of games.
That's what I'm actually going to try to go head out to Livingston. Doyle's got a doubleheader going at noon today, and that's what I'm. Once we get through here, I think that's what I'm going to go try to do.
Well, we need to get you out of here then. So let's go ahead and that is actually the natural.
Was that it?
Yeah. That's it. So if y'all go ahead and reintroduce yourselves on our way out the door here.
Hey, I'm Rob D. Armand, sports editor here at the Livingston Parish News.
And David Gray, lifestyle editor with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys joining us. Appreciate these 2 gentlemen taking the time to keep us up to date on what's going on in Livingston Parish and with COVID from Mr. David Gray. And want to remind folks, we do have 2 interviews coming out. One was yesterday. This is coming out Thursday. Came out Wednesday. We talked to Buddy Mincy Jr. about drainage. And on Friday, you can look for a legislative preview from him and what he'll be doing with the upcoming legislative session, which begins Monday at 6:30 p.m. Please remember, We are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. One last time, we appreciate you guys joining us, and we will be back with you with some more group therapy next week.